are you, stranger?
A traveler and a keeper of forgotten truths. The hunter standing before you belongs to a story much older than this kingdom.
What story?
If the truth is revealed today, the kingdom will never be the same. What secret could change the destiny of the entire kingdom?
The royal palace remained silent. No one moved. No one even whispered. The mysterious traveler stood calmly before the king, holding his carved walking staff as though he had carried it across many kingdoms. King Adéyẹmí looked at the stranger carefully. Then he spoke. "Stranger, you have entered my palace without fear. You claim to know the destiny of my greatest hunter. So tell us, who are you?" The old traveler smiled gently. "My name is not important. I have come only because the time has arrived." The chiefs exchanged curious glances. Adéyẹmí remained silent. The traveler slowly turned toward him. "You have spent your whole life believing you were only a hunter. But destiny has been walking beside you since the day you were born." The words echoed through the palace. Even Baba Aro became thoughtful. The chief priest studied the stranger carefully. Then he asked, "What proof do you have?" Without saying a word, the traveler reached beneath his woven cloak. He slowly removed an old wooden pendant decorated with ancient cowrie shells. The moment Baba Aro saw it, his eyes widened. He stepped forward. "Where did you find that?" The traveler answered calmly, "It has been in my family for generations." King Adéyẹmí noticed Baba Aro's reaction. "You know this symbol?" Baba Aro nodded slowly. "I have seen it only once. When I was a young apprentice. It belongs to one of the oldest promises ever made in this kingdom." The palace grew quiet again. Adéyẹmí frowned. "I do not understand. What promise?" The traveler smiled. "A promise made before your birth." Before he could continue, the palace doors suddenly opened. A royal guard hurried inside. He knelt before the king. "Your Majesty, the people have gathered outside. They have heard that the hunter is choosing a wife today." The chiefs exchanged nervous looks. King Adéyẹmí sighed. News traveled fast in Ìlérí. Outside the palace, hundreds of villagers waited beneath the great Iroko tree. Women whispered among themselves. Young maidens adjusted their colorful wrappers and coral beads. Some smiled with hope. Others watched the palace entrance anxiously. Everyone wanted to know the same answer. Who would become Adéyẹmí's wife? Among the crowd stood Princess Aduni. She had quietly left the palace through the side courtyard. Her royal maid stood beside her. "My princess, do you believe the hunter will choose you?" Aduni looked toward the palace. "I do not know. But I know one thing. He has never looked at anyone with pride. He carries kindness wherever he goes." Nearby, Morenike also arrived with 2 young women from the sacred grove. She quietly watched the palace. The 2 young women smiled. "Surely your father already knows the spirit's decision." Morenike shook her head gently. "My father may hear the spirits, but even the spirits do not force the human heart." Far inside the palace, the traveler finally continued. "The promise I speak of was made between 2 families. A promise that one day their children would unite. Adéyẹmí listened carefully. The traveler looked directly into his eyes, but the names of those families were lost. And now, the kingdom stands at a crossroads. King Adeoba leaned forward. Can this promise still be fulfilled? The traveler nodded. Yes, but only if the truth is found. Babaro raised his ritual staff. And where does the truth lie? The traveler slowly turned toward the palace entrance. He pointed beyond the distant hills, beyond the northern forest. The answer: there is a forgotten shrine. The hall fell silent once more. Adéyẹmí looked toward the open doorway. He had spent years hunting through every forest surrounding Ìlérí, yet he had never heard of such a place. King Adeoba stood from his throne. If this journey will reveal the truth, then the kingdom must know it. He turned toward Adéyẹmí. My son, will you go? Without hesitation, Adéyẹmí bowed respectfully. If the journey will bring peace to the kingdom, I will go. The villagers outside cheered as the palace door slowly opened. They expected to hear the name of the hunter's bride. Instead, they heard something no one expected. The king announced, "The marriage will wait. The truth must come first." Shock spread across the crowd. The maidens looked at one another in disbelief. Some lowered their heads. Others whispered in confusion. Princess Aduni remained calm. Morenike quietly smiled. Both young women understood something the others did not. This story had become much bigger than marriage. As the sun disappeared behind the western hills, Adéyẹmí stood outside his home preparing his bow, arrows, hunting spear, water gourd, and travel bag. He looked toward the northern forest. A cool evening breeze passed through the trees. Far away, hidden deep within the ancient forest, a pair of glowing golden eyes watched him from the shadows. A calm voice whispered, "He is finally coming."
Go with courage, my son. I will return with the truth. For the first time in his life, the greatest hunter walked toward a destiny no one could escape. This place, I've never seen anything like it.
Welcome.
Someone or something was waiting.
The first light of morning spread across the kingdom of Ìlérí. The air was cool. Birds sang from the tall Iroko trees as the village slowly came to life. Outside the village gate, Adéyẹmí stood quietly with his hunting bow resting across his shoulder. His travel bag was tied firmly behind him. Today was different. This was not a hunting trip. It was a journey into the unknown. King Adeoba stepped forward. He placed a strong hand on the hunter's shoulder. My son, our kingdom has always trusted your courage. Now, we trust your heart. Adéyẹmí lowered his head respectfully. I will return with the truth, your majesty. The king nodded. Behind him, Princess Aduni watched silently. She wanted to speak. She wanted to ask him not to go. But the words refused to leave her lips. Instead, she removed a small coral bead bracelet from her wrist. She walked toward Adéyẹmí. Without saying a word, she placed the bracelet gently into his hand. "When you look at this," she whispered, "remember that someone is waiting for you." Adéyẹmí smiled warmly. "Thank you, princess." Not far away, Morenike stood beneath an ancient Iroko tree. She watched everything in silence. She did not feel jealousy. She did not feel anger. Instead, she quietly walked toward the hunter. In her hands was a small leather pouch filled with sacred herbs. "My father prepared these. They will protect you on your journey." Adéyẹmí accepted the pouch respectfully. "My thanks to you and to Baba Aro." The two young women looked at each other. For a brief moment, neither spoke. Then Morenike smiled gently. "We both want the same thing." Princess Aduni nodded. His safe return. The village elders smiled quietly. They had expected rivalry. Instead, they witnessed respect. As the morning drums echoed through the kingdom, Adéyẹmí finally began walking. The villagers stood along the dusty road. Some raised their hands in blessing. Others whispered prayers. Children ran behind him for a short distance before stopping at the edge of the village. Slowly, the kingdom disappeared behind him. The northern forest stood ahead. Its towering trees stretched high into the sky. The world became he walked. The songs of birds slowly faded. Even the wind seemed different. After many hours, Adéyẹmí reached an old stone pathway almost hidden beneath thick vines. He stopped. The traveler had spoken of this place, the Forgotten Grove. Blue flowers glowed softly along the edges of the ancient path. Strange symbols were carved into weathered stones. Some were almost covered by moss. Others looked as though they had been carved only yesterday. The hunter knelt beside one of the stones. He brushed away the moss with his hand. The carving showed two hands joined together. Above them, a single star. "What does this mean?" he whispered. Suddenly, a cool breeze passed through the grove. The blue flowers began to sway. One by one, tiny glowing butterflies rose into the air. Adéyẹmí looked around carefully. Someone was there. He could feel it, but he saw no one. Then, a calm female voice echoed through the trees. "You have finally found the first gate." Adéyẹmí stood quickly. "Who is there?" Only silence answered him. He tightened his grip on his spear. The voice returned. "The journey cannot continue until your heart carries no fear." The hunter slowly lowered his weapon. "I fear no battle." The voice answered gently. "This is not a battle. It is a test." The forest became still once again. A few moments later, the ancient stone pathway began to glow with soft golden light. Hidden symbols appeared beneath the moss. The entire grove seemed to awaken. Far away, back in the Kingdom of Ìlérí, the mysterious traveler stood alone beneath the great Iroko tree. Baba Aro approached quietly. You knew this day would come. The traveler nodded. For many years. Baba Aro looked toward the northern hills. Will the hunter survive? The traveler remained silent for several moments. Then he answered softly. That depends on the choice he makes when he reaches the second gate. At that very moment, deep inside the forgotten grove, the ground trembled gently. The glowing pathway slowly opened. A hidden staircase descended into darkness. Adéyẹmí took one careful step forward, then another. Without looking back, he disappeared beneath the ancient earth. Far above, the entrance slowly closed behind him. The forest became silent once more. Only the glowing blue flowers remained. And somewhere, deep beneath the earth, something ancient opened its eyes.